Hello, it's James here. This video will help us to set up a group in order for us to use Sometics with our class or whatever group that we might have in mind. So once you've logged in, you'll be presented with this screen and you've got your different options down the side. Overview and My Profile aren't particularly helpful. These My Profile will help you to change your password and your email address and that sort of thing. But we want to come down to groups. Now, when I click on groups, you'll see in my screen that I've got a bunch of different groups. And the way that you might create a new group is to come down here and click on Create New Group, which is this green button right down the bottom of the list. Now we might say our group is going to be called Group 2. And we might know what that means. Maybe you want to call it something more specific, but for this video we'll call it Group 2. And then it'll bring up this screen here. Now, to show you kind of how to get back into this screen before we move further, if you click on Groups, you'll get all of your groups down here. And you can see we've got Group 2 here. And if you want to get back into that screen, you can click on this blue button over here, which is Change Group. There are two ways of adding people or members to the group. You can import them from a file, or you can actually add them through the web browser. Personally, if you have a class list on a bit of paper, or you're sitting in a classroom and you're adding them from looking at their face, then this is actually the quickest way of doing that. Let's say that I want to add some group members, then I'm just going to come in here through the web browser and click on Add a new group member. And hopefully this loads quickly. Maybe it's not going to at the moment. There we go. Now, you must have a first name. So let's say we're going to add Alex. And you can put a last name in there, or maybe you just want to put in an initial. And Alex is going to be a female. And Alex doesn't have an email address at the moment. The reason that she would have an email address is because you were emailing this survey out to her. The situations that this is helpful is if students are old enough to have their own email address and they have good access and good computer skills in order to be able to go and click on a link to be able to access the survey. In this case, we're not going to bother with that because we're in a school setting and limited ability to actually do that. So this would be great for high school particularly, or maybe year 6, 7s, or if you're doing this with adults. So we're going to leave email address out of that, and we're going to click Save and Add New Member. What that will do is it will kind of look like nothing happened. Everything will reset, but if you come down here, it will say Group Member Saved. All right, so this is important. And then we can add our next one. So let's say it's Joe this time, and it's Joe D, and he's a male. All right, and you just do the same thing. Save and add new member. And then you can also press the enter button at any point, and that should put them through. Remember saved. Right, so it's actually quite quick. You don't have to refresh the screen every time. That'll go away. So that's how you add people into your group. Now you can click back, and this will take us back to our groups screen, and you can see that we've got 2 different people in our group. So quite easy to add group members in. You can also add passport photographs if you possibly were going to be using this group long term. And what this would do is it would add a little photo next to the people so that it was easy to identify who they were. All right, but that's the basics of being able to add people into a group. And you should be able to add as many as you need to into that group. I don't think there is a particular limit.